This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Let's talk about guitar tones and methods of attaining guitar tones. Way back in the mists of time when I first started taking this YouTube thing seriously, it was back in about 2018, 7 years ago, dear me. I was going to say my main source of guitar tones, but my only source of guitar tones was this piece of kit here, a Vox Tone Lab ST. Prehistoric by today's standards, but I recorded a couple of albums which are up on Spotify, by the way. Go and check them out. Using this as my the engine room of my guitar tone. And last time I listened to one of those albums, I thought, yeah, that's not a bad tone I'm getting there. So some great sounds I think you can get out of this, and it's it actually feels very responsive as well, like playing through a valve or tube amp, if you like, because as you can see, there is a big old glowing glass bottle in there. But it started getting a little bit sketchy. Some days it would work, other days it would kind of work and then not. And so I thought, yeah, I need a backup for this. So this is around about the time when I was watching a lot of Glenn Fricker, the Spectre Media Group, and he was, it seemed like, a couple of 3 times a week he was talking about this great new amp sim that you could use, this amp simulator or that amp simulator, and listen to the fantastic tones you can get. So I went down that route for quite a while, starting with Guitar Rig 5, and I also had Bias Amp 2 as well, and Positive Grid Bias Amp 2, but I ended up using Guitar Rig 6 for a lot of my guitar tones, and we'll come back to that. The thing is, I stopped using Guitar Rig because I was getting quite a lot of comments, increasingly so. Whenever I would do a guitar review, there would be always a contingent in the comment section saying, yeah, but we still don't know what the guitar sounds like because you just plugged it through that digital crap and that makes everything sound the same. Well, I'm not entirely sure that's true, but if a proportion of the audience that are watching my videos are of that opinion, then it's beholden upon me, I think, to respond to that. So that's when I shelled out and got the Marshall DSL-1, which I used to make up with a little Behringer B906 microphone, and got fantastic tones out of that. I would have stayed with that forever, but unfortunately it's a Marshall, and therefore it had Marshall levels of reliability. It just packed in working one day. I've tried it again since, and it works, and then it doesn't, and then it works and it doesn't. I could invest time and money in getting it fixed, but luckily a friend of mine had loaned me another amp to check out. One of these, a Blue Guitar Amp 1, the Thomas Blue thing. This is my Blue Guitar Amp 1, and I bought this from a pal of mine in the Netherlands called Edwin. Another mate of mine called Craig had loaned me his Iridium version of this amp, and I really loved it. As luck would have it, Edwin was getting rid of this. I bought it before the Marshall actually decided to go wonky on me, and it turned up the day after Mr. Marshall decided to not play nice anymore. So, and I've just used it ever since. I could get the Marshall fixed, but I'm loving the sounds I get from the Blue Guitar amp. But there is one thing that I miss about using amp sims about, you know, this kind of thing, Guitar Rig 6. It's the flexibility. I can record a solo using an amp sim, and because then the guitar is not going via an amp, it's just going straight from, you know, the output of the guitar into the interface, and then the amplifier tone gets sort of applied in software on the PC, in my case in Reaper, or choose your own DAW. You can record a guitar solo and then you can listen back to it and you can think, yeah, but wouldn't it sound better if I'd used a different style of amp? And you can go in and you can retrospectively change the amp that the solo was played through. Here's a little bit of an example of me doing that. Here's the same solo, the same performance each time. I didn't record it 4 times. The same performance 4 times over with, I think I start with a Fender Twin Reverb amp sim going in, then a Vox AC30, then a Fender Bassman, and then a Marshall JMP. So you can kind of get a sense of what the different amp tones sound like, and I think they are pretty convincing in Guitar Rig 6. Draw your own conclusions, but you know, you can then choose from you know, which amp sound suits the mix that you're doing the best. Have a listen. This is what it sounds like. So I think you can hear a fairly dramatic tonal shift between those different amp simulations there. By the way, before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. There's a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and the jam track I was using to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know by now. £3 or £3-ish or $3 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources and goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are down in the description. The criticism that people have of kind of digital amp sims is one that I used to share. That they don't feel responsive to play through, especially when, the granddaddy of them all, I suppose, is this thing here. Much more like, I hated this thing for years, but I managed to get a few decent sounds of it the last time I used it, mainly by coupling it with modern impulse responses. But it still doesn't feel as touch sensitive and responsive as playing through a real amp. And while we're on the subject, I will just mention that last time I did any kind of video where I was talking about amp sims and the Blue Guitar Amp 1, I got some bright spark in the comments insisting that the Blue Guitar Amp 1 is nothing more than a simulation, which, frankly, I take issue with that, because simulation for me is software and algorithms and, doing it digitally, whereas the I'm not saying there isn't any digital circuitry in the Blue Guitar Amp 1, but it's not a simulation. It's it's components on a circuit board, and there's an actual nanotube in there, so it's got a valve at the heart of what's going on, and it responds like a real amp. It's, to me, calling the Blue Guitar Amp 1 a simulation is about as valid as saying that, I don't know, a matchless amp is a simulation of a Vox AC30. It's not. The Blue Guitar Amp 1 isn't a Marshall amp, so in that sense it is simulating it, but it's not what I would think of as a simulation. Anyway, the criticism that's levelled at amp sims is that they're a bit cold, a bit sterile, not very responsive, and crucially they make everything sound the same. And I can see where that latter part of that is coming from. I think the modern amp sims are, they have got that touch sensitivity and responsiveness pretty much sorted now. Playing that solo earlier, it certainly felt like I was plugged into something real rather than something simulated. But as for making everything sound the same, I think what those amp simulations do is they give an idealized version of what you think that amp can, should sound like. So it's the best Marshall sound that they can muster. It's the best Fender Twin sound that they can muster. It's the best AC30 sound that they can muster. And as I say, an idealized version of it. And it does kind of smooth out the differences a little bit, but you plug in a Strat and then a Les Paul, you're still going to hear the difference. You might not hear as much of a difference between two separate Strats. It'll still be there. You wouldn't hear that as much of a difference between two identical guitars, similar guitars, let's say, as you would going through an amp, but those differences are still there. So, I like the versatility. I liked, as I say, because I don't tend to use Guitar Rig much these days, I like the versatility of being able to essentially reamp the signal. Oh, you can do that, I could do that with the Blue Guitar Amp 1. I could just take a DI to run it into the interface in parallel with the output from the Blue Guitar Amp 1. But it's a faff around. It's extra cables trailing across the floor that the wheels on this chair will, no doubt kind of trip over and stuff like that. So, it's not something that I tend usually to do. Maybe I should. I don't know. But, that's all today's video is about, basically. It's a slight sort of case in defence of amp sims. I think maybe a lot of the people who criticised them, had a bad experience with amp simulations 10, 15, 20 years ago, and that put them off. That was certainly me, with the pod back in the day. Didn't like it at all. But things have changed, and when you're getting, kind of big name artists these days recording albums with, simulations and, even touring with them, a lot of bands that are on tour, their guitar tone comes from, something that's on a laptop in the stage wings or behind the dummy Marshall cabs. Looks like you've got a load of amps on stage, but it's basically just all being done in guitar rig or, I don't know, Tonex or something. So, I think that they have now got to the point where they are, if you're serious about getting a decent guitar tone, you can use them. And as I say, the flexibility is a big bonus point for me as well. Let me know what you think. Do you use, software simulations, either in the form of like a Tonex pedal, or any number of the Line 6 family of things, or Fractal, or, using them as plugins on a PC or whatever, digital kind of algorithmic ways of generating a guitar tone, or is it an absolute anathema to you? Do you still like to go old school, or are you like me where you can sort of see the benefits of both ways of doing it? And frankly, I don't care. I don't care what I'm plugging into, as long as the tone that's coming out the speakers is something that puts a big daft grin on my face. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But that's it for today. Just some musings about amp sims and their pros and their cons, basically. As I say, leave your comments down below with your opinions on the matter. I'm just interested to know what you think about this. But that is the video for today, folks. Hope you found it relatively entertaining or thought-provoking, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And don't forget the live stream tomorrow and every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We just have a beer and chat about stuff, basically. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.